lovelies, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. Now today I wanted to do a VR to the lovely Dawn Michelle over at Dawn Michelle Tarot because she has a tarot tag out at the moment called Tarot Loot Drop. So the idea is thinking about what would be in your inventory if you were, say, a game character in a video game and you suddenly got raided or killed. I don't know what the terminology is, guys. I'm not a game player at all, but if your loot dropped and somebody stole it, what at the moment would be in that loot drop? The only time I've ever seen loot drops is watching my son play Fortnite. I kind of get the concept, possibly not the terminology, so forgive me. So I've just thought about my life in general at the moment, and I thought, right, I need to share what's going on at the moment. So I love the tag. Thank you, Dawn Michelle. I absolutely love it. So let's have a think. So for food and drink, at the moment I am absolutely loving this water bottle, which has a rose quartz angel in it. Now this actually was a present that I bought for Poppy, but I think she went off it, to be honest, so it's ended up with me. I love it. For me, rose quartz is really important because I once went for a therapy session where I did a guided meditation, and I ended up on a beach with a figure walking towards me, and it turned out to be my dad, who has passed, and he was carrying this giant piece of raw rose quartz. And at the time I wasn't working with crystals. I knew nothing about crystals. I didn't recognize the crystal. It was only after the meditation, explaining it to the therapist, that she said, oh, that's rose quartz, and do you know what the meaning of rose quartz is? And it turns out that it was unconditional love. So for me, rose quartz is really important because of that moment, and it was so clear, and I just sat sobbing in the therapist's office. So to get a water bottle with a rose quartz angel in, it means an awful lot. I love it. Rose quartz is also my daughter's favourite crystal as well, so yeah, I absolutely love that. Okay, for sort of shields and protections, because I know that in Fortnite you have different like shields, different ways of protecting yourself. I am going to say these two oils. Now these are Dream Spirit oils, which you can get anywhere. They're about £8 a bottle here in the UK. You can get them like online if you just put in Dream Spirit oils. They come with like the rollerball tops, Every morning I choose a set oil and I draw a pentagram on my wrist with them, and for me it kind of feels like really strong protection magic. I absolutely love it. It is a daily practice. It's super simple and easy. I love their patchouli. I think the patchouli is fabulous, but also when I'm working more closely with the Morrigan, I also adore the Night Queen oil, which I use for sort of the Morrigan. So you're probably going to find at least those two oils which kind of feel like protection. Also, it's kind of in the medicine bag in the loot drop, you're always going to find a flower essence. So at the moment I've been loving working with buttercup. Again, this is part of a daily ritual. I made the buttercup flower essence last year. It's for joy and confidence and Queen of Wands energy. I've been loving that. I really felt that supported me over the summer just beautifully. Another thing that happened over the summer was stones. Now I've always collected stones, but I think this year, working with this weaver's card, which is the last weaver's card I worked with, and randomly pulling this stone out of like a pot with a whole big collection of stones that have called to me over the time, and then realizing mid-meditation that the woman is depicted on the stone, it blew me away so much. Alongside that Weaver's card, there was this Contemplate card from the Ritual Oracle deck as well. The other stone that I'd randomly pulled also had like a face depicted on it with the moon shape in the background, which looks like this part of the card to me. It just seemed amazing. I do have like a big plastic cauldron full of probably over 100 stones, so to randomly put my hand in and just grab two without looking, and to find it depicted on the images of the cards I'm using, that just has blown me away. So I think at any one time you will find stones. You might find heart stones in my inventory. This was a stone that I did with that last candle spell. This is now holding all of the magic from that candle spell. There are stones like this as well. These are some of my most magical things in my practice. These are random stones, black stones with white circles, that I feel are given to me on repeat by the Morrigan, and it does match my tattoo. This stone in particular, probably if I had to grab one of the most magical things I work with, it is this stone. So stones are going to be in my inventory. There is a video coming about 2 stones that amazingly impactful, and this is all to do with liminal space. Also a piece of brick, again amazingly impactful. There is stories behind these. You're going to find random things like that in a loot drop for me at any given time. Look, here is another incredibly witchy stone that I've been stone scrying with as well. And then for crystals, you're probably always going to find some quartz. I've normally got quartz. Also, you're probably going to find amethyst at any point with me. Also this one, while I'm missing the ocean, because water's had such a big impact on me this year, I think this is an agate, but it's one that's got water inside. When I shake it, I can feel the water shake. It does have a more proper name than just an agate with water inside, which I can't remember. I can never remember, but I can always feel the energy of what I need them for. So if I forget the names, then I'm kind of not okay with that, but I kind of live with it. So you're going to find possibly those crystals as well. Also, especially at the moment, you're going to find jars and bottles, empty ones for collecting. I've always got little dinky tiny jars, or I've got slightly bigger jars in my bag, because another thing, as well as stones, I like to work with, it's also soil. Now this soil was collected on Saturday. There's a video coming about where I was for that. This is amazingly magical and important and incredible. So you're going to find empty jars, you're going to find full jars of all sorts of random things as well. Also, you're going to probably find a doll in the inventory somewhere. Now, the dolls that I love to take out with me in my bag, so these are kind of adventure buddy dolls, but it's also like a vessel to soak up energy of somewhere where I am. I always come prepared to, as with the jars, provide like a landing place for energy or spirits when I'm out and about. And I don't find it every time, but sometimes I think I can bring a doll back and it kind of holds not only energy but memories. It's like a memory holder, and I love that. Now, for a long time, this doll is the one that Tilly always wants to take out with us. So this is an Enchantimals. It's the doll that comes with the sheep, so we love her. This is Shauna. So Shauna has been in my inventory and in my bag for months and months and months. If it's not an Enchantimals doll, I also really like to take these equestria girl dolls out as well. They're part comfort doll, part like spiritual tool, to be honest, and I think they are both a really nice size just to drop into a pocket in a handbag, and they're just there just in case. You don't have to make a big show about having dolls out with you, but it's just nice just in case, and I think Enchantimals and Equestria Girls are just a perfect size for that. Staying on that idea of toys as well, you might find the odd badge or two inside my bag waiting to come home to be put onto my badge doll. So I have currently started looking for badges out and about, and I've just been loving it. So badge divination, I don't know yet what I'm going to do with this, but it's still always percolating, and if I find a badge it goes in my bag, so you might find a badge or two. Okay, in my art studio I've also been doing a daily tarot draw, but with a random tray of sort of fairies and sort of story figurines. So what I've got next to my desk in the art studio, I've got like a pull-out tray where all these little figures have been collected. So I've got lots of these little figures. Some I bought recently, a lot are from the kids' toy stash when they were little. I'll put my hand in and I'll pull two out randomly and let them speak a message. And I've been using this kind of story figure divination alongside the cutest, most gorgeous, tiniest little tarot. So this is the Faerie Tarot, and this is the teeny tiny little mini edition. Look, those are the backs, and I've been loving it. I've been loving using these cards alongside the little fairy and storybook characters. It's just been really lovely. I've been doing a lot more art over the last few weeks. Of course, we've got Inktober and Drawaline coming up. October's a big month for sort of drawing challenges that people are prepping for. I've been doing a bit of prepping and doing some pieces for that too. So sitting in my art studio, it's just really lovely to just pull some of these cards, and I've just been loving them. So these have been working alongside these little figurines, so you're probably going to find this deck in the inventory alongside some rather magical storybook characters. You are also definitely going to end up with this. Now this is the handbook for 2024-2025 for English Heritage. I recently bought a year's membership for me and the kids with like a carer's discount and a disabled discount to buy me and the 3 kids a year pass for unlimited visits to any of these English heritage properties. It worked out so cheap and such good value. It doesn't really bode well that I paid for the membership and then all the kids announced that they preferred to do activities out that weren't just looking at things. I think if you've got teenagers, you kind of know that that teenagers like to do, they don't just necessarily like to look. But even just for my membership, when I've got weekends without the kids, this is wonderful. And Tintagel is down in Cornwall. That's a long way from me, but oh, I've been there a few times. It is the most magical place. So the places that are near me are here in the West Midlands. So Worcestershire, that's where I am. So we've got things like Ironbridge, Clun Castle, Wenlock Priory. These are all places I want to take you guys to. Croxton Abbey. Oh, just all these amazing places. We've already been to Kenilworth Castle and Gardens. I took us there on the channel. Whitley Court, that's Whitley Court with the fountains. So you're going to get that because I'm constantly planning where I want to go next. The English Heritage Handbook. You're also going to at any point find sort of random notebooks. I've always got notebooks in there, all for different purposes, but I'm never without a notebook, and I love having notebooks with me. And if I just reach up here, you'll probably also get something like this fall out, which is like a old Barbie sort of zip container that Barbie dolls would come in, full of sort of pencils and gel pens and scissors and sellotape. Just can't be without it really, can you, when you're out and about? Right, this as well is going to be in there. This is Judika Illis's Daily Magic Book. So this is a diary through the whole year. It takes it a day at a time, and it just tells you like all the sort of magical correspondences of the day. So you've got different spells or magic that particularly pertains to that day. You've got like saints' days or deities or myths that tie in, and like the different magic that you can do based on that. I did start Pyromancy Try with Bridget. So I've made notes to myself. If you don't like to see writing in books, I'm not the person for you, because I do write in books, guys. Yeah, so this is just a really nice sort of nighttime reading. Yeah, so I've got notes all over this. This is my second year with this. I don't read it every day. That would be telling you fibs to tell you that I used it every day. But when I do think about it, it does live in my bedside cabinet, and I do like read, say, the month ahead, and I highlight or write notes about anything that's really jumping out at me. It's just one of those books that I think is in constant use just because of what it is. Like, it's like a really thick book. It's fantastic. I love having that. So that's never far away. So that's probably going to be in my inventory. And currently as well, even though I'm not working with this tarot at the minute, this guidebook has been in my bag for probably 6 months whenever I get a spare minute on the school run, because time is very limited for me. I've been reading and making notes about the Universal Folk Tarot, because I promised that I would come back to it, and it kind of looks like I've broken my promise to you guys, and I never came back to it. But it's because I've got such limited time. We've just had the summer holiday. I've still got 1,001 demands for different things, for finances, for the kids yapping at my heels. There is very little time, hence this has been in my bag, just trying to read about the cards, and then I'll go back to using it, and I will eventually come back to you. My first impressions, I was a little bit critical, and then I worked with it a bit more and thought, actually, no, this is really good. And some of the things I was critical of, I'd made mistakes on. And then Anita came into the comment section, and she was so lovely, like clarifying things and discussing things. So I promised not only you guys, but I think I was also making a promise to Anita that I would come back and do like a proper in-depth review rather than just a first impressions, which might not have been it might not be giving you the whole picture. It was fair because I wasn't making things up, but it's not a review having really used it and understood it. And I think that video made me think I don't want to do first impressions again, because I don't think first impression videos, especially if they're critical, are necessarily fair on an artist who may have like devoted years to a project. So that's what I'm doing. That's why that's in the bag. Also, oh my gosh, this one would be in there as well. So this I know is A Blast from the Past. This is Buckland's complete book of witchcraft, or the big blue book. I made a decision a few months ago that because I'm late to changing my spiritual path and late to witchcraft, I wanted to kind of know what I didn't know, if Does that make sense? So I bought some of the older classics that would have been around when I was younger. You can see again, like I'm writing all over this, and I'm making a decision to read through the classics and to catch myself up and to kind of firmly make a decision on where I stand. If I'm saying like I follow a witchcraft path, what does that mean? Where does it fit in? I think England has such a rich heritage to draw from. We've got Druidry, we've got Wicca, we've got the marshland witches, which is where I grew up, where Wales meets England in Herefordshire, and like the witchcraft practice of the cunning folk. I'm doing research on all of that and reading the classics and just trying to form my witchcraft landscape in my mind so that I can better understand myself within witchcraft and where I stand by myself or in relation to time and history and other beliefs. So it's been really interesting. I've got lined up to read next, after I've read Buckland, these are another couple that I've got lined up. So I've got Real Magic, and I have A Witch's Bible by Janet and Stuart Farrar. I've got loads actually, guys, downstairs, but that's been super interesting. And in the same vein, I'm also picking up again for the second time this book, Georgia O'Keefe. I know fundamentally that art magic has always been my thing. This book is an absolute monster of a book. It is so massive. Look at this. Georgia O'Keefe is such she's a signpost for me and a guiding light. She's the lantern in the distance. Formidable, incredible woman and artist that sometimes when I lose hope for my direction, I just think, what would Georgia do? So I really want to finish this. I've always got like little pocket books about George O'Keefe. I normally have quotes cut out by George O'Keefe. You might find this monstrosity in my inventory as well, this huge book. But yeah, it's a brilliant biography. It's by Roxana Robinson. This is the expanded edition and it's fantastic. Okay, and then other decks that you are going to find in my inventory. I am completely obsessed with Luminous Space at the moment. The Tarot of 78 Doors is in my inventory. Because of that, I need to be really careful not to lose that, and also I'm going to keep the bottom of the deck separate as well. So let me show you from these cards. So this is the latest deck that I bought. I got this secondhand on eBay. It was bought purely to do some Luminous Space reading with. I've done one so far. It's still at the bottom of the deck, hence I've put the cards separate because I do want to sit with my journal and go through it. There is a lot to think about. Super excited. Like where a doorway takes you from one place to the other. I think stepping through the doorway, that portal, you've got a lot of ideas about liminal energies here. So I love this. I'm very excited to work with it, guys. I'm very excited for the path that I'm on at the moment. I have been tracking down Horcruxes, and what a card to pull. And you'll know why when I upload some videos that are currently being edited. Tracking down Horcruxes, you are also going to find this necklace, which is actually a pendant watch. This is a Harry Potter, the snitch. Is it the snitch? Why does that not sound right? But it's also a a lovely little pocket watch that I wear around my neck. Yeah, we've been tracking down Horcruxes, so you might find the odd Harry Potter necklace in there alongside the tarot of 78 doors. And how liminal is that? Look at that. So that one is by Pietro Aligo, and it is a Llewellyn deck, an old Llewellyn deck, so I'm loving that. Another pair really that I am loving, which I'm currently working with, let me reach over, it's Mind's Eye Tarot by Olivia Rose, and the new printing of the Aquarian Tarot. Now the Aquarian Tarot was one of the classics that I was really desperate to get my hands on. The Hanson Roberts, which I got a couple of years ago. The next one on the list was the Aquarian. And honestly, I don't know why I've waited so long. When I knew that there was a new printing, I thought, well, now's the time. This is also relatively new to me. I've been working with them together, and I cannot say how much I absolutely adore them. So this is the Mind's Eye Tarot back. This is the Aquarian Tarot. I love these backs. I'm so glad it was reprinted with those backs. Now, can I get this to go in focus? Yes, I can. Look at them. If we start, look at the colour palette. Colour palette is so beautiful. I love the background space in this deck being black, in this deck being white. And there's something about the lines and the sort of Art Nouveau feel, which I think is kind of mirrored in a more modern way in the Mind's Eye Tarot. The Aquarian is very Art Nouveau. It's very Art Nouveau style and Art Deco, that sort of era. And I think the lines and the ink work in the Mind's Eye Tarot does have a similar feel, if not absolutely identical, similar. But there's just something about the layout. There's something about the solid colour background, one being dark and one being light. There's something about the colour palette as well that has been a joy to work with. Look at that. It's just been an absolute joy to work with. The Aquarian is blowing my mind. Every time I pick it up to work with it, I think to myself, why did it take so long? Because the Art Nouveau era is one of my all-time favourite art and design eras ever. I just love it. And yeah, these two together, just really, really fantastic. Look at that. So these two would definitely need picking up out of my inventory, and I love them. Look, one more, look at that. This Lover's card is so gorgeous. Look at it, it's gorgeous. You are also going to become the proud owner of a very handmade tarot journal made out of, as you can see, an Amazon envelope. Still completely not finished yet. I can add to this as I'm writing in it, like the decoration on the side. Look, this isn't finished. That's completely fine. The signatures are just made with just random bits of paper. I also save up envelopes and things like that. There are also little mini signatures under here ready to go. I love working in these because it isn't really precious to start with, although it is precious to me, but you know what I mean, it's not cost me like £60. There's no fear at all to use it. I can stick things in, I can do random things in there, I can paint in there, I can draw in there, I can glue or sellotape things in. I absolutely love it. I think if any of you have any fear around the idea of spoiling a journal by using it, then something like this might be the way to go for you, because I'm loving it. Also, another deck that really has waited to become centre focus for me is the Luminous Faerie Tarot. So this is the slightly smaller edition. It's got this gorgeous burnt gold gilding on it. This was the very first indie tarot deck I ever bought myself. I know I've said that so many times on the channel. You must be so bored of hearing the same old words over and over. But it was the first indie tarot deck. Have I ever told you that before? That I treated myself to, and it hasn't really been overly used. I do realise, and I do have to fight not saving things for best, especially if they've felt like an extravagance, because me spending money on me was something that I came to a lot later in my life, so it does feel like an extravagance, and it does seem like it needs to be kept for best. Hence the fact that some of my more expensive decks don't get as much use as my mass market decks, to be absolutely honest. Oh, look at that Five of Cups, isn't it gorgeous? But at last, because the liminal space and liminality has really been taking my focus, this deck does feel like that sort of in-between world. Look, the faces, they're there, but they're not quite. It feels like a face at the other side of a mirror, or like a figure in the back rooms. Something just running around the corner that you just caught sight of, or was it there, or wasn't it? It's got that feel to it, that kind of you're not quite sure what's going on. It's the disconcerting nature of the liminal, and you do feel it in this deck, that unsettling, uncanny feeling of the liminal. And oh my gosh, I've loved it. So I'm so glad I finally got to using this deck. I think perhaps it was just waiting for liminal space to call to me. So that again is something that you will find if you manage to get a loot drop from me. And look at the backs, you'd be very happy, wouldn't you, to win that. You're also going to find the Crow Tarot, because I have been working and being called to work more daily with my Morrigan practice, so you are definitely going to find crows in there. So the Crow Tarot is just a really nice deck, I find, for if I want to sit down and feel like I am sort of honouring deity, or spending time with deity, or getting messages from deity. This is just the deck that I come to, and I love it. So you're going to find the Crow Tarot in there, alongside candles as well. So this, I had such a strange experience with this candle. Can you see the hole blown in the side and the top where it didn't burn properly? Let's just say there was a whole world of magic that happened the other day when I was sat with the Crow Tarot and candles. So you're going to find candles at the minute. I'm finding amazing things happening with candles all the time. You're probably going to find at least 10 packets of dragon's blood incense as well. This is my absolute favourite. I don't do very well working with fire or smoke, having just said incense sticks and candles. I'm completely contradicting myself, but dragon's blood, there's something about it, calms me right down, and I love it. And then finally, I did speak about the cunning folk of the marshes, which is the Welsh borderland, which is where I grew up and lived till I was in my early 20s, right on the border between Wales and England. I am really going back to my own personal roots. This is a very magical place, I think, in England, like the Herefordshire border and the Wye Valley. It's where my first encounters with magic and fae and the Morrigan happened. So it's got an incredibly pertinent and special place in my heart. So this isn't the only book that you're probably going to get in my inventory, but this is the one that I'm sharing. So that's it, guys. That is all of the loot that you would find in a tarot loot drop. Thank you, Dawn Michelle, for the lovely idea for the video. I am loving seeing people's responses. So I'm hoping that loads more people jump on the bandwagon. I would love to see everybody's loot drop as well. So I'll leave all links below. I think Logan did a VR response as well. I'll leave that link as well because I've really enjoyed watching that too. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.